Ladies and gentlemen, well, I'm not going to say welcome to the Packernet podcast because that's not what this is. This is just a bit of a breaking news podcast here. Rashan Gary, who has been the subject of trade talks, announced his time in Green Bay is over. He was due $19.5 million in 2026 with no guaranteed money. Green Bay Packer Rashan Bane Gary put out a release. When I got the call in 2019, it was one of the greatest moments of my life, and it always will be. The opportunity to represent Green Bay and Packers Nation across the country and around the world is something I will never forget. Like all chapters of my life, this one has come to an end. I want to thank everyone who supported me and my family throughout the years. The love, the energy, and the memories mean more than words can explain. On my way to my next stop, nowhere near done yet, all 6'5", 275. Can't wait. Obviously, we'll talk about this more on the actual podcast tomorrow. But my assumption is, they talked about he was the subject of trade news. The trades fell through. I would think that the team would. There's two ways to look at it. Number one, it could just be that they were trying to work something out for him to stay, and that is ultimately what fell through. Well, and now we got Ari Mirov here. The Packers will be releasing Pro Bowl defensive end Rashan Gary. That's kind of what my assumption was, is they were trying to trade him. That fell through, and so now it's being put out there because you don't want to release this and then get on the phone and start saying, hey, anybody interested in a trade? You just said you're releasing him. And so even though everybody kind of knows it's probably heading in that direction anyways, you want to try to put on this facade of, we're going to try to bring him back. We're going to try to work some things out to see if you can kind of work some kind of a trade. And if nothing else, even if they know, it's still beneficial to trade for a guy if it turns out that, you don't want to compete for him or whatever. But obviously that didn't work. The Packers have thrown in the towel. They are releasing edge rusher Rashan Gary. I don't know how realistic a trade actually was given his cost. I'm guessing he's going to sign for quite a bit less. Well, I shouldn't say that because I don't think most Packer fans value him very highly, but I have a feeling he's not going to sign for very much. I have a feeling it's going to be similar to a Jair situation. Maybe not as bad because he doesn't have these recurring injury issues, but one of those things where you look at it and go, holy crap, that is low. But again, I'll talk about it tomorrow, but I'll say this. First of all, I love Rashan Gary. I really do. I've always appreciated him from the moment he took that call and he was bawling his eyes out. I've talked incessantly about the fact that this is a guy who will die for, if you show him loyalty, he will be incredibly loyal to you. I think that's been the case. I think he has been extremely loyal to this organization. I think he's worked extremely hard to give his best at all times. I think ultimately, though, and this is my concern that I talked about with Micah Parsons, those ACL injuries, especially for defensive linemen, are devastating. I don't know that he ever fully recovered from that. I'm quite positive he's never gotten back to what he was, what he could have been, if not for that freaking ACL. And, I think unfortunately, especially considering the way his contract was structured, it's going to be very hard to come to any kind of an agreement where the Packers are able to pay him essentially what he's worth in order for him to stay. So Rob Domofsky here saying it appears the Packers have informed Rashan Gary he will be released. So, again, we've been waiting for kind of some big news. This one was expected. They're probably still working the phones with a couple other things, but again, they've officially thrown in the towel on any kind of reworking, any kind of, pay reduction, pushing any money out, trades, whatever kind of deals are out there. They have exhausted all those and realized they're not getting anything better than just releasing him, which you hate to do, given the talent that he had. You always want to be able to be in a position to recoup some value. But it is what it is. They're not in that position. Same with Malik. Boy, oh boy, if we had one more year with that guy, we could have cashed him in big time. But his contract's out, and he's able to walk and get all kinds of money, and we get zero nada. So, anywho, I'll leave it at that. Again, just wanted to get it out there. Rashan, I love you, brother. Appreciate you, dude. I do not wish you the best because, obvious reasons. But at least as far as football goes, please don't go anywhere in the NFC North. Please do not go to the Chicago Bears, who desperately need pass rushers. Although, I don't know. Maybe it would be okay. I don't know. Whatever, dude. If you go to the Bears, just suck. That's all I'll say. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.